A stop along Route 66 ended in a conversation and us getting beer here at the Brewmance. My name is Rob
Yes.
Hunter. His name is Mike Russell. We're going to tell you about Amy and I's stop at Rickety Cricket Brewing in Kingman, Arizona, because we have one of their beers that their owner, Terry, gave us to try right here on the Brewmance. But this is a very interesting beer, Mike, because we're not even sure if we could actually say the real name of the beer.
I don't think we can say it on air, but on the podcast, if you're looking on YouTube, you can actually see it. I'm holding it up to the camera right now. Let's call it Tatas on a Goose. How about that?
I like it.
Yeah. All right. Good. Okay.
So
okay.
I think you could probably guess. There's another word that begins with T that the actual name of the beer
on a goose. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know what kind it is. What I do know? Do you know what kind this is? I haven't even opened
it. It is a milk stout.
Milk stout. Ooh, that's very Christmassy on the label too. You know, I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff too. And the funny thing is Rob came back and said, "Hey, I stopped at this place in Kingman, right? Called Rickety Cricket." And I was like, "Wait a tick! I met him at Saddle Mountain." I'm like, I met this guy. I know this guy. This guy was like, it was probably 2.5, maybe even 3 years ago. Time's moving so quick. But I was like, we just kind of chatted up. He's talking about some kind of pizza that he makes. And I'm like, Rob, I felt like Spicoli from Fast Times. I know that, dude. Yeah, that was so cool. And you just stumbled upon the joint.
So we knew we were going to go to Kingman because it's along Route 66. And we knew about Rickety Cricket Brewing because Mike and I had tasted their beer at one of the beer festivals back when beer festivals were still around. Yeah. So I remember the name. I remember the beers. And I knew they were in Kingman. And I was like, all right, let's stop and check it out. In fact, I think it was Lady Brewmance's idea. So it was like a Wednesday afternoon. We roll in there at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a guy pouring beer. Thought nothing of it. We said, okay, we'll have a couple of beers. Amy got a flight. I got one of their IPAs. It was a Huckleberry IPA, which was rather good because I didn't get those combination, right? But it had a nice Huckleberry finish that wasn't too overpowering.
Hold on. Good. Stop right there. You could throw a Huckleberry at me and I wouldn't even know what it was. And then you had Huckleberry before. What does Huckleberry taste like? What is it?
It's berries. Yeah, it's got like a berry quality to it. I don't know that I would call it. It's like a cross maybe between a blueberry and a blackberry.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because all I know was from Tombstone. I'm your Huckleberry. That's all I knew. I didn't know it was a real thing. So a Huckleberry, I honestly never even had one. I'm from Southern California. We're just deprived out there. That's all we get.
That's why
if it doesn't have sprouts or avocado on it, we're not allowed to eat it. So Huckleberries didn't fit in. Excuse me, please go ahead. Huckleberry IPA, yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm drinking the Huckleberry IPA, and Amy's drinking her flight, and we are talking to the guy pouring the beers, and it turns out he's Terry. He's the owner of Rickety Cricket. And then we ended up going down this conversation route, again, over a beer, which was super fascinating just to hear his story. So Terry was a former state trooper.
What?
In Arizona. And he was patrolling, because he lives in Kingman, and he's out patrolling. He told me, he's like, sometimes on an emergency call out there, you're one person. So if you need backup, it might be an hour and a half away. Wow. So imagine being a police officer.
No.
And having, I need backup. Okay, we'll be there in an hour and a half. No, I'm good.
Yeah, no. Does you pick another occupation? And he did, thank goodness. Yes,
he did.
Because now he's delivering goodness and joy. He's doing God's work at this point.
He is absolutely doing it. And he said he'd been brewing beer, I think he said since the 90s. And we're going to reach out to Terry and have him on the podcast so you guys can hear his story firsthand in January. So be listening for that because he's a really, really interesting human being. So he's been brewing beer since the 90s. And, after he retired from the state troopers, he's like, I can't just sit around all day. I need to do something. So he's like, I'm going to open a brewery. And Rickety Cricket is what it became.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's funny that you're talking about the owner pouring beer and stuff. And I think that's good. Is it a big place? Good size?
They have two places. They have a tap room, which is where they make all their beer, which is it's a really big space. Mm-hmm. And then they have a restaurant, which we didn't go to because we were in the brewery. They make pizzas in the brewery. And in the restaurant, they have different types of food, and they have their beers there, too. And then he just bought a bigger building so he could expand. And in that building that he bought, it came with a coffee shop. So now he owns a coffee shop in Kingman as well.
Holy cow. Actually, it's funny that I met him at Saddle Mountain because that's essentially the same model Laura's following. So she's doing the same thing, getting into coffee as well. So, yeah, I think there's a little too, maybe they communicate. I think that they share best practices. How about me and my corporate speak?
Look at you.
We're going to circle back to that one. We're going to shelve that one for now. We'll come back to a little later.
When we create some synergy.
I hate corporate speak. Don't think outside the box. I would
I
rather talk how you and I talk in our day job, how we talk political speak. I'd rather talk that than corporate speak all day long.
100%
All
agree.
day long. But going back to the about Terry being there and serving beer, I remember when I lived in Southern California, friends of ours said, "Hey, let's go to Rodman's bar." And I was a Dennis Rodman nut when he was playing in the NBA. I just thought the guy, the heart, the defense, he put that, like he did everything no one else wanted to do, and he did it well. And Dennis Rodman is who Dennis Rodman is. And so I was a huge fan. He's one of my favorite players. That and Michael Cooper of the of Lakers. So that's, I mean, back in the day, buddy. I
Oh,
went back
yeah.
to those. Yeah.
I was a Celtics fan and loved Michael Cooper. I was like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy is a Celtic killer every time.
So we went to his bar. It was called Josh Locum's. It was in Newport Beach, right on the water. And when you walk in, who's checking your ID? It's Dennis Rodman. You go to the bar and order a beer. Who's serving you? Dennis Rodman. Then he goes into the DJ booth. The DJ is Dennis Rodman. Just kind of moving all over, never stop. Every woman that walked in the bar, he tried to kiss, including the women we were with. So that was interesting. Because kind of what do you do? You're like, it's Dennis Rodman. And he just tried to kiss my girlfriend. That's kind of interesting. Yeah.
My bar.
Give
me your ID. I know. Give me a kiss.
Yeah, smooth. It's like a cover at the door. Yeah, the guys are in free. It's guys' night. Come on in. You don't have to kiss me. Ladies, I need a little smooch.
Although you never know with Rodman. He might have a guys' night too where he'd want to do that.
Okay, yes, probably.
I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying Rodman seems kind of like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do.
Yeah. And I said, well, speaking of that, when I said smooch, I was way underselling it.
Oh, yeah.
It was like come in for the real thing. Yeah. Don't mind my 19 lip rings. Just come on in. It was so bad, but it was surreal because I mean, there was just kind of regular music just playing, like being at a bar, and we went and got around, and then he left the bar and just went up into those DJ thing and just started doing his thing. I'm like, this is absolutely bananas. And it was a great time. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
He had a white boat that he drive to basically park it in front of us called Sexual Chocolate.
Of course it was.
Of course it was white, a big purple letter, Sexual Chocolate.
That's why he tries to make out with every woman that walks in. It's because boat's called Sexual Chocolate, for crying out loud.
I think that was when he was with that one, who's the super hotness?
Carmen Electra?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how weird she was, man. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, especially as a kid growing up. Like, she was that coming of age for if you're in your mid-40s or probably mid-40s to late 30s. You know Carmen Electra. You know Jenny McCarthy. You know all those ones.
That's why I think so many people are disappointed with the way Alyssa Milano has gone. Just absolutely off the crazy train. She is she's too crazy for the crazy train. And I think she helped a lot of us young men in our formative years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we can't say the word on the beer can? Come on now. Holy cow. See, we can dance
I was
around.
going to say a phrase, but I won't even say the phrase because it's a little too, whatever. But the point is this. Go places, have conversations with people because you never know if the person's pouring your beer might be the owner of the place. The first time we went to Helton Brewing, we've told this story before, it was a very similar experience. So we're in there hanging out. We just got some Brewmance hats. So there was 3 of us. And we're like, oh, it's a central location. We always wanted to try this place. And he comes out. Oh, what's this Brewmance? He's the one that was curious. Then I'm like, oh, are you one of the owners? He's like, yeah, I'm Brian. He didn't say, yes, I'm Brian Helton. That's my name. He's so humble. He came to us, showed us around the place, and had established our friendship with him simply because we were willing and open to having a conversation.
I think that's important too, is to treat people as if they are the owners. I remember when I was doing the sales gig, we always ask, would that be you? Are you that person? If I'm asking for the person that owns the joint, is that you?
Yeah.
And just assume. And a lot of people that weren't, they were impressed and they thought, okay, wow, that's really kind. It's not, this person doesn't think I'm just some slappy that just opened the door. This person thinks I look like the person that might own the place.
Absolutely.
And you just never know. Or it's, not know who you know. I mean, the owner of that giant corporation over there that likes to sponsor beer podcasts. Yeah, that's my dad. Yeah, just be nice to everybody. How about that? Just assume that they are probably doing better than you. It doesn't matter what they're doing, if they're sweeping, if they're doing, because every business owner, they know how to sweep. They're Jedi at sweeping. They know how to mop. They know how to clean glasses. They know how to do it all because they do it all. And that might be the one right in front of you, as evidenced by Terry at Rickety Cricket.
And ended up having that great conversation with him about not just the brewery, but how he's doing with COVID and all the adaptions that he's had to make, and how he just trusts his intuition, which is really cool, which is exactly what we'll talk to him about next month when we have him on the Brewmance podcast. Just a fun human being. And it goes down to that, right? Like Mike said. And I credit Lady Brewmance for this, because sometimes I'm like, and she's like, oh, what are you the owner? Oh, yeah, I am the owner. So she's unafraid to ask that question, which is an important lesson. Sometimes you just got to shoot. You got to shoot your shot. See what happens.
You have such a nicer voice for your wife than I do for mine. Yeah, it's so soft and gentle.
In a moment, let's keep this theme of niceness going, because we're going to stop there before we get in trouble with our lives.
Thank you.
Tipping during the holiday season.
Ooh,
let's discuss strategies for that coming up next year on the Brewmance 550 KFYI.
It is Brewmance on the radio, Arizona's only craft beer podcast and radio show. How about that? Yeah. And what we do is we don't just sit around and rate beer. We don't just sit around and talk about different types of hops. We have great conversations, honest conversations. We talk about adventures. We talk about life. We talk about what it means to you all around a great craft beer. Now, my man, this is what you brought, courtesy of Terry from Rickety Cricket. What is it?
This is called Blanks on a Goose. We'll substitute the word that's on the can, which if you watch the video, you can see right there.
I got
go to our Instagram page right there. Yeah, what do you got, Mike? Fill in the blank.
Second base on a goose.
Second base on a goose.
Yep.
I love it.
Go.
Okay. All right, so second base on a goose. We'll give you this hint too. So this is a milk stout with cherries in it. And on the cover, there's a goose with 2 cherries in a certain area.
At second base.
Yeah,
that's what that is. Base. Okay, fantastic. It is the holiday season, and a lot of people are like, okay, who do I get gifts for? Who do I not get gifts for? Who's going to be insulted if I don't get gifts? But if I get one person a gift, then who do I have to get the other person a gift that knows that I got the other person a gift? How do I do this? It's always a challenge, and it's especially when it's like let's say your kids are dating. Do I get their boyfriend or their girlfriend a gift? How do I do it? Yeah. Like, are they that in here? I mean, what do we do? And then on top of that, we're such a transient state. We have so many people moving here from out of town. This is essentially Chicago West. And so it's becoming California East. But a lot of people are here from the East Coast. And you would know this, Rob, that it's very customary for people around this time of year in the Northeast. They tip everybody, their bug guy, they tip their mailman, they tip the door guy, they tip anyone that the car driver that they usually are their Uber guy or whatever. I mean, here's an envelope, not just here's a couple bucks. Here's an envelope. I thought of you and got you something, and I want to thank you, which is not how we do it here or where I'm from in the Southwest. So there's just so many factors that go into it. Where do you land on that, being as a guy from that area?
I never did it because I got out of there by the time I was 21, essentially, or 22. Yeah. So I never really partook in that. But I did always think it was interesting that my mother would tip the mailman, the postman. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But that was customary in the 80s. I don't even know if it is now. I never see my mailman. So I'm not going to tip you for bringing my. But that's another part of it, though. There's like over tipping now.
Yes.
Like you're expected to tip for everything. I'm like, well, the tradition was if someone brought you food at a restaurant at a table, sat down, you tip them. Now it's like, okay, you can do that. Plus the delivery drivers, you tip them because that's essentially them serving you. But now it's like everywhere you go to get coffee, you get a tip jar. And I'm like,
sandwich.
It's just, I'm incredibly confused because I feel guilty if I don't do it.
Right. And then like, how about the curbside pickup?
Yeah.
I'm like, you just walked I bought $50 in food. You just walked your butt out here from that spot to this spot, which is not even 10 yards. Do I give you $10? Do I tip the normal? Because the tip line is on there. Yeah. So I don't know who's getting the tip. The guys that actually made my meal, I'll tip them.
Right.
But yeah, not the person who just took 18 steps to come over here and hand me my food in my window.
And it's weird too, because the serving industry is based on tips as a wage. It's a true free market system. They get a base wage. And I know this because I was a server for about a year or so, year and a half. My first radio job, I had to supplement my income by getting a second job. So I was a server. And some days were great. Some days were okay. Some days stunk. Mm-hmm. I had a lunch shift. I had one table. I made $6. And I was in the restaurant for like 3 hours. It was below minimum wage. That's how ridiculous it could be. Yeah. So it's one of those professions built on the idea of tipping. but the postman is not. The doorman is not. The person that Mike just described who brings your groceries out from the store to the car is not, because they all have an hourly wage that is not a server wage, which I don't even know if I think it's still $2.13 is a minimum wage in most of the country for a server.
Let me clarify. I was talking about curbside pickup at a restaurant, but like the people
okay.
that actually bring groceries and put it in my car for me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give them a couple bucks.
But they
I
all
mean,
get a wage to do that. So
sure,
it's not based
right.
on and that's the weird part about where we're going is supplementing everybody's income with tips, which I understand, but I try to stick to people that are doing something for me and like making me food because the wage is lower. Or if it's a small business owner. So Mike and I go to a sandwich shop sometimes. It's right near the radio station. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you like $1.50 every time I make a sandwich. Why not? Because I know that's a small business owner. I know that, their employees are in there and I assume they're splitting the tips somehow, which is cool with me. But it's that food part that I get. Like, yes, this is a tipping thing. If you're the postman and you get paid a decent wage to do your job, I don't feel like I should tip you to do your job.
Right. And do you tip more than the holidays? I mean, I'm not asking personally. I mean, does it change your mindset around the holidays? It does for me. It totally does. Cause I just know for a lot of people, especially in the service industry, that are just getting their tuchus kicked every single day by Karen after Karen, by grumpy person after grumpy person. They were supposed to be in a good mood, but everybody's hustling and bustling. They're ticked off and they couldn't get the TV they wanted for their kid's bedroom and they go into a restaurant and they're just mean. So I try to do my best to spread a little Christmas cheer.
I do too, but this was the best financial year I've ever had. So,
nice.
A couple of months ago, I was like, I'm going to give to someone because it was one night I was like, didn't want to cook, so I ordered pizza, and it was like I got 2 pizzas. It was $20, but I'm like, I'm going to give the person who drives me this pizza because they're willing to drive me pizza. I'm going to give them a $10 tip, and I was like, I'm going to celebrate my success in 2021 by giving someone who went out of their way to bring me pizza $10. And I felt pretty good about that. And I'm not doing this to brag. It's just to explain and answer Mike's question. And then when Lady Brewmance and I were on our Route 66 trip, we gave 2 different people $50 tips just because we liked the service, we liked the person, and because we're like, we can right now.
Yeah, right.
So while we can, I don't know when this Russell and Hunter Brewmance Go Show gravy train will end. But for now, because I do have it. Yeah, exactly. It's not quite like that, but I had the $50 to be able to give to someone else for a job well done. And I don't know how that made them feel because I remember being a server and getting a tip on a $35 bill as a lunch tip. I got a $45 tip. And I remember how that made, I still to this day, that was like in 2001. So 20 years later, that feeling like, wow, I really felt like I made a difference for their lunch experience, which, you could, big deal. But for them to give me a tip that was bigger than the bill was really cool. So I want to be able to do that when I can.
Well, good. And how about gift giving? Because I hate getting gifts. I really do not like receiving gifts. I don't. And as you know, Rob, you know that I bought my gifts. And I'm not talking about my gifts I'm giving people. I bought them stuff for them to hand to me. Like my sister, my mom, my kids, my wife, just here. This, I know exactly what I want. Go wrap this up. It came here today from Amazon, came here today from Walmart, whatever it was. And then you go ahead and do that. I mean, because I know what I'm getting, and they know that I know what I'm getting. So just it doesn't I don't know. Maybe it's the pressure of it all. Like I don't think I'm going to give them the reaction they want. Like I think that you could give me an F-250 in the driveway with a big bow on it, and I'd be like, oh, this is great. And then the anxiety will set in. Like I'm not giving them the response they want. Do I need to jump up and down like I'm on the Price is Right? I don't know. Is that going to be too fake? Because I'm a sucky actor. So I'm like, I can't fake the funk. So here it is. I'm really happy I had this. You guys are amazing. Thank you. That's about it. That's about all I got.
But that's interesting, the pressure part, because I've gotten away from gifts because I used to be good at it, but I went into debt. Like I would go crazy. And I'm like, I ended up, when I was a kid, I got my first credit card at 17. So that was a really stupid idea.
What could possibly go wrong there?
Everything went wrong.
Yeah. Sure.
So by the time I was like 23, because my first job in radio, It was part-time. I was making $8 an hour. They gave me a full-time position at $17,000 an hour, hence why I had to become a server. And I remember I had to charge my groceries at some point because I didn't have enough money to pay rent. I had a car, I had to pay that. And I was like, oh my God. And I ended up with like $30,000 in credit card debt. And that's hard to pay off when you're making $17,000 a year, but I did. I chipped away at it. I didn't cheat. I didn't screw the credit card companies over. So that value in that has taught me that you can't go crazy when it comes to buy. You can't go in debt trying to please other people. It's not a good idea. So, but because I don't like getting gifts either, because I literally need nothing. There's things I want, sure, but I don't need them. So I've kind of retreated from gift giving, hoping that, hey, we have this understanding that don't buy me a gift, I won't buy you a gift, and we'll just call it a day. It doesn't always work, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand that, but it's also the people that you're like, oh, they're probably expecting it. I mean, they're expecting it. And there's other people where like, I don't care if they want it or not. I'm giving it to them because it's gonna be a badass gift because I thought of it because I know them. It's special, and boom, here. Like all of mine are mostly drawings, very terrible drawings, and I frame them and I make people feel guilty if they don't hang them in their home. I kid.
I love that. I got mine autographed.
Yeah, baby.
Right there. Exactly.
Stick figures. Yeah.
Let's continue this conversation too, because it obviously is the week before Christmas, and traveling around the holidays is now different because of, well, we know why. We'll get into that next year on the Brewmance. 550 KFYI. It has been a long 2 years, affecting 2 holiday seasons now because of this pandemic. How does it impact how you do your holidays, how you travel? Let's get into that here on the Brewmance. My name is Rob Hunter, joined as always by my main man, Mike Russell, and we grab a beer each week and have these interesting, open-minded conversations where we sometimes disagree on certain topics. What's today's beer, Mike Russell?
This is from Rickety Cricket. Thank you so much, Terry. It is. We can't say it on the radio, but if you can see it on, the YouTube, there you can see. It says something on a goose, which I'll go ahead and name. We're gonna go ahead and call it Jumblies on a Goose. Which in the outdoor world which I live, we would say those about as useful as those on a boar hog.
I like it because I know that phrase. It's a beautiful thing. So, again, we're trying to be vague on purpose.
Yes.
Because, just trying to figure this out.
Check us out on YouTube. Give us a follow as well. Subscribe to it so you can see what's going on.
Exactly right. And to give Rickety Cricket another shout out, they make pizzas in their tap room. Their pizzas all have sexual names. So just be warned, if you are not into that or that offends you, Rickety Cricket is, as you can tell by the title of this beer, Rickety Cricket is not for you.
Yeah, right. It's PG-13 to R. It's kind of right in between there.
Especially us guys. Like, we never really get over our juvenile humor.
Nope.
It's going to be part of us forever. So you go in and you see the pizza names, you're like,
I see what it says there.
Yeah, like,
that Goose says cherries where the second base is.
I'll give you one example. I'll walk into the waters here for a second, because the pizza that Amy and I got while we were there was a pickle that had sausage and pickles on it.
No.
So I'll give you the first word, dill. And then you know what the pizza's made of.
Yes.
The base of a pizza.
Right.
Dough. So that was the name of the pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But it was spelled out, pickle, D-I-L-L / D-O-U-G-H. We got a kick out of that. It's pretty hilarious.
Not saying a word.
Yep. Let's stay out of that one.
It was Rob that said it.
Uh-huh.
I kid. Rob, you are a traveler. Rob travels like travels. Things have changed a little bit during the COVID years. I think it's kind of changed his mindset just a skosh. But you still do travel. You go about. I mean, you're going to spend the entire Christmas week. You're going to spend it traveling, not traveling. You're going to be away from home. And I think that's always been something that's impressed me about you. And it's at the same time, it's like, that ain't me. That's, I think, one of the best things about us. We have different things that we like to do. And traveling around the Christmas holiday is awful. I got to tell you, 3 years ago, I traveled on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh,
it was fantastic.
There's no
best travel experience of mine. There's no one there. It was like an episode of the Twilight Zone. There was absolutely no one there. But I was trying to get a firearm through TSA, so it all broke loose after that. But anyway, moving on. But now travel is just so different. Everything is so different, and it's weird now that you not only have to make plane reservations, which, by the way, the plane companies, the airlines, excuse me, the plane companies. There we go. Let me have another sip of the blank.
The airline industry.
Yeah, the airline industry. They decided that they can change your flight whenever the heck they want, and they do it often. Last time we went up to Wyoming, I think I got 15 emails saying, now this is your flight. Now this is your flight. Now I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to get to the airport and there is a flight. So not only you book your reservation, you have to now, where you're going, you have to research their COVID restrictions. You have to research basically what they have going on in the law over there, so you can plan your trip. It is just it's made me not want to go anywhere ever. I love our state. I don't want to go anywhere. I'm good.
That's what I realized several times. So 4 years ago, Amy and I had some extra vacation time. So we're like, okay, what are we going to do? We're like, why don't we just drive around Arizona? So we ended up going to Page, Arizona, up by the lake. That was really cool. We went in December. So as I mentioned, it was off season. So it was fantastic. So we stayed at these hotels that have these amazing views for like low money.
Yeah.
And then we stayed at this hotel called The View in Monument Valley. And this is a summertime place. Monument Valley is really, really amazing. So there's 3 big sort of rock structures that you look at. And the View Hotel looks out at them. And it's the only hotel that does that. So being able to do that in December for $230 a night, which is still pretty high, but we did it for 1 or 2 nights, instead of $500 a night or $600 a night in the summer, was well worth it. And then you realize this state that we live in, Arizona, is massive. Obviously, everyone knows Arizona for the Grand Canyon, but Monument Valley is right on the Arizona-Utah border. Page, Arizona is a super interesting place. We went to Oatman, Arizona on Route 66. Yeah. Kingman's an interesting place.
Prescott, Sedona, it's all awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Flagstaff is where we're going to be spending Christmas because, again, it's 2 hours away. It's super easy to get to, and it's a nice little town, a nice little escape, and it's going to feel Christmassy because it's going to be freezing.
Yeah, and knock on wood, you said easy to get to. I-17 isn't the most easily traversed part of our state.
Sure. Especially if it snows.
You said the View Hotel. It frightened me. I thought like Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar were working the front desk or something that. I was like, nope, no. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But it changes everything. And the wild thing is, I had my in-laws. They traveled here. Actually, traveled on Thanksgiving Day. They traveled here for the weekend, and it was so interesting. Just their perspective of life. Understand, my in-laws live on 500 acres in northern Missouri.
Wow,
it's stunning. I mean, just the property it's unbelievable and what they've been doing to it. The kids go up there and they worked with the Department of Agriculture to do some meadow, and it's makes a little house on a prairie look like a shack. It's awesome. Anyway, so they watch 2 shows, 2 news programs a day: CBS in the morning, CBS in the evening. That's it. And so their vision of travel was, hey, everything's kind of like, we're going to Arizona. There's no border problem or anything like that going on.
Wow.
They knew nothing. Where like diehard news consumers like Rob and I, I mean, we know everything going. Like when I say you have to research where you're going, Rob and I probably know what's going on in that state and their restrictions and all of that, and know how to get there and how to navigate that. But I think that the majority of America has no idea what's going on outside of their little bubble. And I think it's going to be a big surprise to a lot of people, and not a pleasant one either, to a lot of people. They're traveling for the holiday.
Especially, this idea of a vaccine passport. I know we don't get real political on the Brewmance, but I think it's the dumbest idea ever. I really don't like it. I think it's discriminatory. I think it's factually inaccurate to do it because we know vaccinated people can spread the virus. So that politics aside, like, for example, I would love to go to New York City sometime soon, but I can't get in anywhere. So I'm not going to go to New York City. So instead, I might drive around Arizona, because here's what I've realized. I've done European trips. I've done river cruises. I have been to Japan, several international trips over my life. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that. And I love it. I absolutely love it. But I love just as much driving through Arizona, or going to spend a week in Flagstaff, or exploring a new city, or going on a hike in Sedona. So there are multiple ways to get that travel fix, which I've had to adjust to in COVID. Like, for example, my in-laws are going to Europe next year. And they've been vaccinated, obviously. I have not. I'm not allowed in many countries because of that. And that's my choice, and I understand that. And if I want to go, I can make that choice to get vaccinated, but I'm not going to do that. So that being said, I will see what happens in the next couple of years and then adjust them accordingly. But I will mostly spend my vacation time probably on the West Coast for the next couple of years, outside of go and visit family on the East Coast.
They're doing you a favor, especially in New York City, Rob. Been there 3 times, never want to go back. You can't pay me to go back, and it has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with COVID. It has everything to do with that environment. You know me, with a lot of people going elbow to elbow, a lot of people. Concert, cool. Walking to get a sandwich, no.
Mike's anxiety would be like, ah!
Mm-hmm. I loved it when I had when we lived in Southern California, we had the Disney passes, the annual passes, and they had blackout dates. And most people get ticked off about blackout dates. I love blackout dates. That's Disney telling me, hey, Mike, you don't want to go there, dude. No, this is going to be a day. It's going to be packed, bro. You don't want to. You're not going to get on any rides. You're not even going to get in line to get a beer. It's going to be terrible. You just need to stay home, sit this play out. One of the other non-blackout days, that's when we want my man Mike here. See, I love
Tuesday night in December. Good time to come. You get the Christmas lights, because that's what's cool about Disney too, is like finding those windows. And there are not many at Disney, but there's a slow fall off after Thanksgiving, before like 2 weeks before Christmas. So if you go, you get all the Christmas experience, but with way less crowds. So
yes,
it's pretty cool.
And they got great craft beer there. California Adventure is just kicking some serious teeth with craft beer. And now Star Wars Land serves beer too.
Oh, so man. Mike and I, we actually, Lady Brewmance said that we should do an audition video and send it to Disney to say, look, we're Star Wars nerds. You should allow us to do the Brewmance right here from where you're doing. We'll sample all your craft beers. We'll do that immersive experience. We will pay for it. We just want access to it. And we will tell everybody all about it and how amazing it really is. So Disney, if you're listening, holla.
Eisner. Yo. No, Eisner's not even part of it anymore.
No, I don't know the new Disney CEO.
No, I think it's still Iger. I think it's still Bob Iger. I think he's still around. Yeah. So Bob, give me a holler.
On his way out. Yeah, exactly.
Bob,
just call us. We'll be right there. No big deal. Okay, in a moment, we will finally rate and review Blanks on a Goose. That's next in the Brewmance on the radio on 550 KFYI.
And believe it or not, it's our last live episode of the year. That's right, winding down 2021. It is Brewmance on the radio, honest conversations, adventurous life. See, it says right there, right behind us, right on our logo. Each and every week, we have fantastic, amazing, wonderful, interesting, challenging conversations around a good craft beer. What do we got, Rob?
Blanks on a Goose, because we're not sure that we can say the first word in this, but we will give you a hint as to what the blank is. Let's call it Chi-Chi's. I was going to go something more generic, like female, but I don't even know if you could do that anymore with all the gender confusion conversations that I've had in the last couple of years. But nonetheless, top part.
Yes. I'll say it. Breasts on a goose. How about
that?
There
we go.
Yeah, let's just make it what it is. I'm cooking turkey breast for Christmas, so I mean I can say the word breast.
Nice.
Or breastises if you're a child like me. So yeah.
Or if you're cooking two breastises.
Well, I am making two breastises.
Are you smoking them on your pellet grill?
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah, I'm smoking it. Yeah. And then I got to get the bison tenderloin going again too.
Ooh.
Yeah, this weekend I'm doing bison London broil. I don't even know what a London broil is. But Slavo from Slavo Salt Seasoning, get over to slavosalt.com, use the code BREW, going to get you 15% off. A fantastic stocking stuffer and gift for anybody, especially those coming in from out of town. Make it happen. He put it in the sous vide for 24 hours, an entire day. Took it out and seared it. Yeah, he sent me a picture. I'm doing that this weekend. Like the second I saw that, I said, I'm doing that this weekend.
Is sous vide, is it like a crock pot? Explain what a sous vide is to
you
us
vacuum seal a piece of meat.
Yep.
Vacuum seal or vegetables or whatever. And then you submerge it in water. Submerge it.
Submerge.
Whatever. In water. And then you have a sous vide wand that goes in there and it basically just heats up the water and circulates it at a lower temperature. So basically in that bag, it's cooking in its own juices. So it's just essentially warming up in its own juices, but it's sitting there for a long time. And you take it out and you sear it, you get a good little crunch, good little exterior on the thing. And then it's just like butter soft. It's fantastic. If you're looking for a great cookie idea for someone who cooks, sous vide. Yeah. SOUSVIDE.
That's too French for me to remember.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even know how to say it. I was like, sous vide? What is this thing?
Yeah, right,
what's this wand thing you gave me here? Holy cow. Does it shoot something? Yeah.
That would be right
what
up
happens.
Mike's alley. You'd shoot the meat that you're going to put in the sous vide to heat up.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have one of those. I have a
thought it
crock
was
pot.
sous vide in a sous vide. I seriously, I don't know. This is when you hand a redneck something French. I'll figure it out, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Totally fine. Exactly right. But see, that's interesting too, because there's air fryers, there's all kinds of different things. In fact, that was one of the gifts we got my dad and stepmom because they have an old toaster. So we got them a new toaster oven. Like, there you go. Nice. Something you can actually use. You can get rid of that old one because you couldn't see any of the numbers on it, like what temperature you were putting it on, any of that. So like, all right, we're going to replace that for you. There you go. Now you got some use out of it. That was one of the better gifts.
We have one that needs to get replaced too. And I thought it was going to be a good joke to give one to my wife for Christmas, but I thought better of it. I gave that a lot of thought. The kids were like, yeah, Dad, do it. Yeah, Dad, do it. And I'm like, because when the Instant Pot was the #1 gift in America, and even so much so that Amazon was putting Instant Pots on their trucks in case somebody ordered it that hadn't even been ordered. I mean, it was that hot of a gift, right?
Yeah.
So I got her one, and she opened up. She goes, "Oh, I got an Instant Pot." She was so I got all these accessories and everything, and she uses it probably every other day.
That's funny.
Like for an entire
year. Wasn't
year.
excited about getting it a gift on Christmas Day.
No, I know.
I'm excited about using it, but not for Christmas.
I was going to do the toaster thing as a follow-up, but
But see, that's the thing. I need some help, Mike, because I once again forgot about Christmas, forgot to buy people gifts, and I was like, oh, when am I going to have time to do this? And, that's my own issue that I got to figure out, the timing issue. But what about last-minute gifts? What can I get people? What do you have for recommendations?
The gift card is the greatest gift in history. And a lot of people say, oh, it's not personal, this and that. Then get a card that's personal. Make the card personal. Make it personal. You can, whatever. Like me, I draw stick figures. I'll draw stick figures on it, and they'll know it's from me. Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic Mike Russell right there. Let me tell you. Yeah. But here's the reason why I say that is A, they're going to go get what they want to get, and B, everything's on sale the next day. So if you're getting them $50, $100, $20, whatever it is now like 15-20% more valuable because what they're going to go get is on sale. I think it's a fantastic thing to do. Like I said, Slavo salt is a fantastic gift because there's no one. I have never run into anyone that said, I don't like that stuff.
I put it on broccoli. I put it on green beans. I put it on chicken. I put it on steak. I literally put it on everything. I put it on like mashed potatoes once because I want to try Slavo salt with mashed potatoes. Awesome. It's awesome on everything.
Mm-hmm. It is fantastic. So yeah.
SlavoSalt.com, keyword brew, coupon code brew, saves you 15%.
Darn right it does. So, but yes, or just, go to Total Wine on your way over to wherever you're going. They got bags. You can put them in bags. You get a nice 4-pack. You can ask the people there, like, look, my buddy's a real brew hound. I mean, into this, like, really, really cool stuff. So what can you help me with? And then on the way. I mean, talk about this, no more last minute than that. And you put it in one of the bags that they have, and you walk up and just say, here, Merry Christmas. Yeah, there's a ton of last minute things. And I'm telling you, the Amazon's also doing, I think they do same day for gift cards. At least they did it last year. I hope they're doing it, same day. So if you forget, Amazon gift card. It's just that easy. It just doesn't have to be, like I said, if you don't think that's personal, make it personal then.
Well, that's a great point, right? Because it's a weird part about how we try to predict how other people will react to our gifts. And we're always concerned about that. But you can't control that no matter what you do. Yeah. So you just do your best. You say, look, I was thinking about you. Here you go. This is what I did. It might be lame, but you might like it. You might be like, oh, awesome. Because I need to get this, this, and this. So this gift card will cover this, this, and this. So I'm going on Amazon right now, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to Kohl's. I'm going to buy, 5 new shirts or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, in those 5 new shirts, you're probably going to get 10 new shirts because it's going to be buy one, get one after Christmas. So that's why I think it's the greatest gift, because if people give me Bass Pro Sportsman's Cabela's, I know everything goes on sale afterwards, except for ammo and firearms. Oh, and if you do have an outdoorsman, by the way, if you can find ammo, that's the gift. Trust me, that's the gift. That's like the Cabbage Patch doll. Remember back in the days, people losing their bleeping minds over that? You get somebody,
balls or adults.
Seriously, ammo. You get someone that shoots. You get someone that's firearms ammo. Woo! You are the hero of heroes.
Not bad. So that's good. Because you try to figure out for people that have most things that they want. Because other than like, okay, I'm not going to spend $20,000 getting anybody a gift. But, 100, 200, it's like a weird range of what do people need between that $100 and $200 range, or what do they want? So you try to scroll through, and I was Googling like gift ideas the other day, and all you get is lists of dumb crap that you're like,
Terrible.
oh, well, why did I waste my time on this?
Now, real quick, I'll tell you that I never get people something that they need or that they knew they wanted. But when they get it, they're happy to get it. That's my goal. That's my goal, at least.
It's a good goal.
Because I got you a map for your wall. I was sweating, you know what, on that one. I was like, oh, it's a travel thing, though. They might like it. And then Lady Brewmance like this. I was like,
oh, yeah. You got the clearance.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, exactly. Like typical, we haven't hung it up on the wall yet, but we know exactly where it's going to go. So at
I
some
don't care
point,
if you're retired and you put it up there. That's fine. It is what it is. It's there, and you know, hey, Mike got us that. Let's talk about this beer, man.
We can cross off all of Arizona now. We've been through the whole state.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Rickety Crickets, blanks on a goose, tatas on a goose, second base on a goose. Breastises on a goose.
There you go.
Okay, Mike. This is from Rickety Cricket Brewing in Kingman, Arizona. Go first.
I didn't know what it was. And then I found it was a milk stout. And then there was cherries on the logo, and the cherries are where the breastises are. And so I thought, okay, there's some cherry notes to this thing. I was like, ooh, this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to be very honest with everybody. I just opened my second one.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's really good. It's really holiday, it's festive-y, but it's not Christmassy. It's just like it's the winter kind of beer. I love this. It's fun. It's sweet. I love it. This is a straight 9. Straight.
I'm with you on the 9 for the same exact reasons, because I'm not great with stouts. I don't drink a lot of them, but I love this one because it is very easy to drink. It's not crazy on the like, oh my God, this bitterness just came in. It's just really smooth with a nice, and this sounds like this is where we get into like wine territory, but there's a nice cherry finish on it, right? You can taste that cherry finish. You're like, wow, this is a very complex, very tasty beer, very easy to drink beer. So that's why Rickety Cricket Brewing, in Kingman, Arizona, blank on a goose. You get a 9.
That's right, you do.
We told you by the way, we're going to have the owner, Terry, on with us, hopefully next month.
This is our last show of the year. Just thank you, period. I mean, there's really not much we can say, but we just appreciate you. We really do. We love having these conversations with you. We love your feedback you give us on social media. We love it all. We just appreciate you being there for us. We appreciate you being here with us, and we're thankful for you. If I know Thanksgiving is past, but we are thankful for you as we count our blessings, and we're thankful for another year that we get to do the same.
And if you really like what we're doing here at the Brewmance, the idea is to have these conversations, challenging conversations sometimes, get uncomfortable sometimes, because that helps us all grow. If you know anyone that's interested in that, tell them about the Brewmance. Share the Brewmance so we could grow the Brewmance into, growing what we need right now in this country and world is a little bit more getting along despite our differences.
Word. How about that?
So,
all right.
On that note, we'll see you next year in 2022.
Cheers, everybody.